He sat there on that cold, splintered bench like he'd been glued to it by failure itself. Hoodie up, eyes empty, a duffel bag at his feet that held more disappointments than clothes. His phone screen was cracked, but it didn't matter. No one was calling, no job offers, no callbacks, no replies to the hundreds of emails he'd sent out. His bank account was a joke. Even the food stall guy across the platform wouldn't give him credit anymore. A few months ago, he was full of dreams. He believed hard work would open doors. He had tried everything: reselling products, launching a YouTube channel, cold emailing companies, applying to job after job. Every plan felt like it would work, until it didn't. One by one, things collapsed. Opportunities disappeared. People stopped responding. He started thinking maybe success wasn't for people like him. Maybe the world was rigged. He stared at the ground, almost numb now when he heard it. A raspy, odd voice in the distance, shouting over and over, "You can have anything you want, if you're willing to earn it the right way." At first he ignored it. Probably some lunatic, he thought. But the voice kept repeating, not desperate, not selling anything, just steady and weirdly certain. He turned his head, and there by the far end of the station stood an old man in rags, bare feet touching the concrete, waving his arms as he spoke to no one in particular. It should have looked insane, but for some reason, it didn't. "Hey, I'm David, and this is Tales of Wisdom. If this already hit you somewhere deep, make sure you subscribe and drop a comment below. Tell me, have you ever felt like giving up was the only option? Let me tell you why that moment might just be the beginning." He stood up like a man possessed, not by belief, but by the kind of hopelessness that makes you do dumb things just to feel something. His legs moved before his pride could stop them. He walked toward the old man, more curious than convinced. "You can have anything you want, if you're willing to earn it the right way," the old man shouted again, smiling as if he'd been waiting for this moment his whole life. The young man crossed his arms. "All right, old man, I'm here. Tell me, how do I become rich, famous, happy, or is this where you tell me to buy your book?" The old man chuckled, not offended at all. "No books, son. I don't sell anything. I give, but only if you're truly ready." The young man rolled his eyes. "Give me what? A magic wand?" "Number something more powerful," the old man said, and leaned in with a seriousness that silenced the sarcasm. "I will give you the two greatest treasures known to man. With them, you can create anything: wealth, success, peace. But most people waste them before they even know their value." The young man waited, but nothing was handed over. "Where are they?" he asked, looking around, half expecting a trick. "They're already yours," the old man said. "The first is time. It's always ticking, whether you use it or not. And the second is patience. That one, well, most people throw it away the first time life doesn't go their way." The young man scoffed. "That's it? Time and patience? I asked you for success, not a TED Talk." But even as he mocked the answer, something shifted inside him. Not belief, not yet. Just a pause. A small, quiet thought he couldn't shake off. What if he's right? The jewelry shop smelled like metal dust and mothballs. It wasn't one of those shiny showrooms with chandeliers and polished glass. It was the kind of place tucked between a pawn shop and a bakery, where time moved slower and nothing ever seemed urgent. That's where he ended up, cleaning counters, running errands, polishing dull stones that barely looked like jewelry. The pay barely covered his meals, and there were no LinkedIn titles to brag about. His old friends? They laughed behind his back, called him Stone Boy, said he was wasting his life working under some half-dead jeweler instead of chasing big moves, big money, big dreams. But every time he felt that old bitterness rise up, he remembered the old man's voice. You already have the treasures. Use them the right way. So he stayed. He watched the jeweler's hands, how they held the tiniest stones with care, how he could tell the difference between a real diamond and a fake just by tapping it on his teeth. He learned not just about gems, but about patience, rhythm, respect for the craft. Most nights he stayed after closing, alone with a desk lamp and a pair of tweezers, practicing what he'd seen. There were no applause, no social media likes, no magical turning points, just quiet, just time slowly melting into skill. Some nights, he stared at himself in the shop's dusty mirror and whispered, "What am I even doing?" But then the old jeweler began to notice. A nod here, a quiet compliment there. And once, just once, he left a delicate sapphire for the young man to polish without a word. It wasn't much. But to him, it felt like being handed the keys to something bigger. It happened on a Monday. Rainy, gray, nothing special. The old jeweler called him early that morning, voice thin and cracking. "Kid, I won't make it in today. You know the place well enough. Hold the fort." Just like that, the shop was his. For a day. He was nervous, but oddly calm. He opened the shutters, dusted the cases, turned on the sign. Same routine. But this time, he wasn't the assistant waiting for instructions. He was the one in charge. And then, like a scene written by fate, a high-end client walked in. A woman dressed in black, looking for a custom anniversary piece. She glanced around, clearly expecting the old man. "You're not him?" "No, ma'am," he said. "But I was trained by him. I can help you." He meant it. He felt it. For the first time in forever, his voice didn't shake. His hands moved with certainty. He listened, asked the right questions, sketched a design on the spot, and offered a timeline and quote without blinking. She looked at him, paused, and finally nodded. "All right, let's do it." That one order? It led to another and another. Word spread, slowly but surely. Not like wildfire, but like roots growing deep underground. When the old jeweler returned a week later, he didn't say much, just clapped a hand on the young man's back and said, "About time." Months passed, then a year. The young man, now not so young anymore, opened a tiny workshop of his own. No grand opening, no headlines, just a quiet door sign with his name on it. Clients came, not in floods, but in steady streams. He treated every stone like it mattered, every person like they belonged. Success didn't hit him like lightning. It grew, like something watered, waited for, and earned. He was passing through the city for a supplier meeting, dressed sharp in a dark blue suit, watch gleaming, confidence quiet but unshakable. The car was waiting nearby, but something tugged at him to take the long way around, just for old times' sake. And there it was, the bench by the train station, weathered wood, crooked slats, same as before, and sitting on it, a boy, young, maybe 19, shoulders hunched, backpack at his feet, hands clenched like he was holding back a storm. Everything about him screamed what he used to feel: lost, tired, ready to give up before life had even really started. He didn't hesitate. He walked over and sat down beside the kid, quietly. No lectures, no flashy advice. Just silence for a moment. Then he said, "If I handed you a diamond and a pearl right now, you'd probably sell them, wouldn't you?" The boy looked at him, confused but curious. "Probably," he mumbled. "I mean, yeah, I need the money." He nodded slowly. "I get it. I really do. But listen, when I was where you are, someone gave me two things that didn't look like much at the time, couldn't sell them, couldn't wear them, but they ended up being worth more than any jewel you'll ever hold." The boy stared. "I was given time and patience, nothing fancy, just the understanding that if I used both right, day after day, I could build something real, and I did." Silence again. The boy was listening now, not just hearing, but listening. He stood up, adjusted his cuffs, and gave a soft, knowing smile. "You've already got them too, kid. Don't waste 'em." As he walked away, he didn't look back. But if he had, he would have seen the boy's eyes, no longer empty, lit with something new: hope.